Whoa, oh, it's recording. Okay, this might be absolute. Okay, I gotta start over now. Where am I gonna be here? Here. Okay, that's better. Hello. This might be absolute folly. I'm going to try to make these cookies. I don't have vanilla. I haven't had vanilla in a really long time. And it's just one of those things that's not essential, so it hasn't been on my list to pick it up when I have had money. Anyway, so I've been trying to figure out what, cookies I can make with only certain ingredients. Now, back when I had a regular job that I was paying a living wage and I used to buy food, I was a part of the Walmart Plus thing because it was nice to get your groceries delivered. Well, there were so many screw-ups with the delivery that I got rid of it. I even tried it a second time, gave it another chance. The delivery screw-ups continued, so I was like, I'm done. But anyway, amongst those screw-ups, some groceries were delivered to me that were supposed to go to somebody else, and of course it was nothing I would ever buy. So I, gave some of it away. But I kept the sugar, the flour, stuff like that, because I figured, maybe someday I'll use that stuff. But yeah, so I've been wanting to make some cookies, but sometimes I don't have eggs. I definitely never have vanilla. I do have eggs now. I've got butter. I usually always have butter. Thank God. But anyway, so yeah, so this might be way too complex of an operation for a third video, so we'll see how it goes. Worst case scenario, hopefully I just have to cut some stuff out. I only have this one large bowl, which ideally would be the dry ingredients, and ideally it would be glass or stainless steel, and it's plastic, which I don't like. I digress on that. That's a whole other topic. But I don't have a second bigger bowl. My second biggest bowl is this thing. Yeah, so I remembered that my sister had gotten rid of this, whatever this is, pitcher. So I'm going to try doing the flour and stuff in here. This is not, I don't think, really a flour sifter, but I'm going to try using it. And I guess I'm going to be smart and do it over the sink. And really, I should probably measure out all my ingredients before recording this, but I'm just going for it. I'll cut some stuff out, or it'll just be a really long video, and okay, the oven is kind of preheated. It's at 300. I'll need to put it up to 350 for these cookies. Let's see. So we need 3 cups of flour. All right. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This fits nicely over the big bowl, but not over the pitcher. And I don't want to be putting it in there and then pouring it in there. That's just a recipe for a huge mess. Alright, so we'll start with this flour. Let's see if we can get 3 cups of flour. And also, my sister got me these super cute measuring cups. They're adorable. However, when you go to pour stuff out of them, particularly liquid, it's a mess. These pouring spouts are terrible. This is kind of these should just be decorative because they don't function well. And then your marking for your measurement is one little line on the inside, not on the other side, so you're kind of I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter if you get it exactly right. I'm an oldest child, so I've always tried to make everything to the T on the recipes. Maybe that's not necessary. We'll see. So yeah, so as cute as these are, honestly, kind of useless as measuring cups. But they're all I've got, so that's what I'm using. Oh, I do have this little scoop. Yeah, I have this scoop. Cuisinart scoop that obviously goes with some kind of machine, but no markings telling you what the measurement is on it. Otherwise, maybe it would have been helpful. So I guess it's just going to be my scoop out the flour cup. Crazy. Alright, so I'm going to scoop this into here. I said I needed 3 cups. This is going to be a mess. Here. Okay, we're at 1 cup. Wow, that only took 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna try pouring it through this. This thing that I'm using to sift it is actually, I bought it to rinse my rice before cooking it, but we'll see. Maybe it kind of looks like it's about the same size bowls as my mom's flour shifter had. However, the fact that it went through so easy, I don't know. Alright, and so I'll probably be mentioning my ADD like every video, but distraction and losing count, so that was one. And then, you know, old age, your memory starts going, so that just makes the ADD even worse, because you already couldn't remember stuff, and now you can remember even less stuff. So like things like counting out loud sometimes help, because then you can kind of hear it in your head. I know when we had our family business, when I would be the last one to leave at night, and I'd lock the door, and then I'd get to my car and not remember if the door had been locked. So what I started doing was turning the lock. It was one of those ones, you know, you put the key, the deadbolt thing. Turning the lock and then pressing my finger into the key really hard, so that by the time I got to my car, I would still feel that pain on my finger and know that I had indeed locked the door. Yeah, life with ADD. It's good times. Alright, so we're on cup number 2 of flour. I think. Shake that. We'll call it good enough. You can always add a little more flour. That's the thing with cookie recipes. You can't take it back though. So that's 2. We're on 2. Well, I mean, it looks nice. One more. Do this quick before we get sidetracked. This will be 3. And I'm going to measure and see if this is actually like a cup. And then I'll label it so I can maybe use it as a measuring cup. Almost there. That's a little shy. A little more. Well, that might be a little too much. I might need this for the sugar, so let's take it out of this bag. Not to pull my kitchen again after this mess. Alright, so that's flour. Spilled some. Surprise, surprise. Here goes flour. Half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, probably done with this. Let's put it there now. I don't think I have a whisk though. I don't know how I'm gonna whisk this. I'm just gonna have to stir it, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to stir it in. Do not have a whisk. I thought I did. Then again, I have a lot of things in storage. Sadness of my life, but anyway, half a teaspoon of salt. And here we have these adorable little measuring spoons that go with the other stuff, but the writing is in the same color as the spoon, so unless you have young, excellent eyes, you can't, it's hard to read. I guess in the right lighting, I can kind of read it, but you know, you don't want to make a mistake on your fine measurements. So we're gonna need half a teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5. That's a tablespoon. Young people out there, enjoy your good vision while you have it. They don't tell you what getting old is going to be like. It just happens, and you're like, wow, that would have been good to know ahead of time. Of course, now with the internet, I suppose maybe younger kids have more information than we did. I mean, I know they do, but hopefully they're accessing that information while they're still young enough to do the things they can still do while they're young. 1 teaspoon. No, half a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. There we go, half. So this is our salt. salt, 1 teaspoon baking soda. And I've got 3 kinds of salt. We're just gonna use the regular white salt here. I love it in a chocolate chip cookie, although I really don't like a lot of chocolate in my chocolate chip cookies, but I love it when you get the little taste of salt in a bite. All right, now since I don't have a whisk, I'm gonna kind of stir this flour as I'm adding the salt in, just to kind of get it evenly distributed. Okay, that's first. So we'll mix this up a little bit more with the baking soda. Next. Baking soda is always nice because you can use the flat to flatten it. Get a nice level measurement. Oh, pretty nice. This baking soda is kind of chunky. All right, close enough. Never thought I'd be saying things like that as a reformed perfectionist. Close enough would not have been okay. Now, it's fine. Oh, sorry, I just got a text message from my sister. She just moved, so she's want to make sure she didn't need some help, which I'd have to stop this process to go help her. So, anyway, yeah, normally I turn all that off. Let's mix in this baking soda. So, whisking. All right, we're gonna gradually add this to the other stuff. Oh, that's another thing. I don't have a blender or a mixer, a handheld mixer, or a fancy one either, of course. I wish I did. Maybe someday I will. So this is going to be a lot of extra work because I'm going to have to just use elbow grease to get everything mixed. All right, there's that. Let's make sure our butter isn't melting. It wasn't quite as soft as I wanted it, so I set it on top of the oven to kind of melt it a little bit. Don't want it to actually melt though. Just want it room temperature. So, 2 sticks of butter, our 1/2 cup sugar, and our 1.5 cups of brown sugar. All right, let's do the sugar. Oh wait, yeah. We'll do the sugar first because that's easier. Gonna need 1/2 cup. Right, that's going in here. Guess I can put the butter in. Now let's put some sugar in first. Actually, you know what? That flour might have come from the food bank. It's possible. They don't always have it. I haven't been there in a while. I haven't gone back since I got laid off again, but I'm gonna have to. But yeah, they don't always have, like I said, the only things you can ever rely on them having is milk and macaroni noodle pasta. So, but yeah, so when they do have flour, you can have like a bag. So I was like, yeah, I might need flour. All right, sugar. Yeah, this is obviously definitely from Walmart. And normally I would prefer C&H because I just think it's probably better quality. Being a super taster, I can taste the differences in qualities of things, water, ingredients. So for me, it does make a difference. For some people, if they don't notice that stuff, probably doesn't matter what kind they use. All right, so 1/2 cup sugar. I was going to use, oh no, I don't want to stick that in there. All right, we'll just stick with that. 1/2 cup. That's pretty close. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so 1/2 cup of sugar. We need 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. This was another one of those ones that got misdelivered. In fact, I just realized they had a bunch of like canned blueberries and cherries and maybe pineapple. Not 100% sure on the cherries because I do like cherries. And some cake mixes, so they were probably gonna make those dump cakes. which I didn't know about back when this stuff got delivered. So I'll probably try one of those at some point. Because, you know, I need more dessert. Alright. It's actually probably the diabetes that's a bigger issue than what your body looks like. Alright. One cup. I don't know what I should press this down with. Maybe this mixer. Yeah, I guess that's okay. No, that's not working very well. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How I'm supposed to pack this. And there must be like a special tool that you would use. Oh, I forgot I got that little microphone and I haven't tested it out yet. I'm sorry. Probably would have been good for this video. Let's see, what can we do this with? I see nothing that would be useful for this. I feel like you need a special tool to do this, which I do not have. So I can use this and this spatula. I should just use my hand. Kind of silly. But if they say to pack it, there must be a reason. That seems a little shy of 1 cup. Add a little bit more, and I'm very thankful that this, I guess we don't live in a real dry climate here, because where I grew up in the desert, probably for sure within a month, maybe within 2 weeks of opening one of these, it would be hard as a rock. So you pretty much just had to buy fresh whenever you make cookies. But here, I guess we have a more humid climate because this has been open for probably a couple months. Alright, so let's not get off track here. Butter, sugar, brown sugar. Okay. Probably needs a little more. I still have to do the 1/2 cup. And let's just pour some in there. Oh, we got it out. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see this. Packing that down. Now it's just sticking to the bottom of this thing, which is weird. Alright, well, hopefully that's good enough. So this goes in here where the butter's gonna go. Still, of course, oh, this is a big mess. Wow. Well, didn't realize I was gonna have a cleanup project on my hands after this, but I should have known. If I wasn't recording this, I'd probably be being a little more careful with it. Doing everything over the sink. But I want you to be able to at least see, you know, most of this. There's like a myth in my family that I don't know how to cook, but I actually do. It's just not worth going through like so much effort just for yourself on like nice meals and stuff. And you know, when your job wears you out and you're just exhausted from that already, I mean, the last thing you want to do, I mean, for my sister, she like enjoys cooking. She doesn't like cleaning. So for her, cooking, I guess, is relaxing. For me, hopefully it'll get to be more enjoyable, but for me, it's just a lot of work. Sure, I enjoy the results of it, but man, you gotta put in a lot of work to get there. And then he's gotta clean everything up too. Okay, so that's, I'm gonna remove this dry stuff since I'm gonna rinse my hand off. Hands off. I should rinse off this spatula too. Uh-oh, I hope my brown sugar isn't getting wet. Butter. We gotta add the butter, then we gotta cream this, and I will probably have to cut out or fast forward this part because it's gonna probably take a while, especially when it starts getting to adding in the dry ingredients. And we have really hard water here, so I do try to keep my faucet and sink, keep the water dried up so that you don't get the hard water deposits on there. It's crazy how hard the water is here. Wreaks havoc on people's hair and skin. And I don't know if it affects the taste of the water. The water's probably just not good because it's just, tap water. But anyway, did I tape this? I don't remember if I had this taped or clipped or both. Tape it come out. Oh, that's right, it was in here. So that's fine. Oh, the clip was on this sugar. Worry about that later. Alright, now we've got to tell you, add the butter to this. Now, I do not like wooden spoons because the way they feel on my hand is the same way if you lick a dry popsicle stick. Totally heebie-jeebies. So I was going to wear a glove while I did this because otherwise it's gonna really, let me do that now. Pantry. Oh, what about when I have to switch hands? Oops. Oh well. See how it goes. See how this goes. Butter seems perfectly softened. I like it, I like it. Use any of our butter. Oh, this is Tillamook sea salted extra creamy butter. It might be my favorite. So I should probably be using it on things I'm actually going to taste it in, not cookies, but it had been in the freezer the longest, so I like to rotate my food stock. So I figured I better use it before it starts tasting weird. Alright, let's this extra butter. Because we want every drop of butter that we can get. Well, I do. Okay, there's one. Cream 2 sticks of butter. I don't know what this recipe is. I just kept going on the internet and asking the AI what kind of cookies I could make with these ingredients. And I eventually narrowed it down to this. Hopefully I picked a good one. I was gonna just do a 3-ingredient one, like a brown sugar cookie, but I kind of feel like if you can add more stuff, they're gonna taste better. So I went with the one that kind of matched the closest to the ingredients I have on hand here. Alright, so we're creaming this until light and fluffy. This might take a while. Let's move all this other stuff out of the way. Turn this a little bit. This is how they did it in the old days before they had mixers. So we gotta remember to mix up the flour too to make sure the salt and baking powder get baking. baking soda get mixed in properly. I think I know the difference by now. My age. Baking soda. The butter is not mixing in well with the sugar. So I guess we just keep going until it does. I kind of wanted to get in there and just do it with my hands, but then I'm gonna waste ingredients and have to wash my hands while we're doing this. I read about just to use a wooden spoon because they're strong, so that's why I decided to do it this way, but I may just have to do some mixing with this gloved hand just to get this to not take 10 years. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's already mixing better. And hopefully it won't stick to the gloved hand too much. I can scrape some off with the spoon. Oh yeah, that's looking much better. Oh shoot. Just dropped a big chunk. All right, I'm the only one eating this. And I know what's on my floor and what's not on my floor, so I'm putting that back in there. If I were making this for anybody else beside myself, I would throw it away. And this is crazy because I used to be such a germophobic OCD person, but then I dated this guy who is not, and the state of his kitchen, well, you can't even cook in there because he's got so much stuff piled up everywhere. His kitchen island, and this is like a really nice custom house on the water, a huge house, and he actually kind of has a kitchen that was made for entertaining. There's like even a little fireplace in there where you could like cook stuff on the fireplace, you know, double ovens, all the stuff. On his island, however, anyway, he's got just a pile of knives stacked up. A lot of them rusty. And just the entire kitchen is just, you can barely make, like, I don't even know if I can make my ramen in there. It's just, he eats a lot of salads, and he does like make himself turkey and stuff like that, turkey legs. I could tell you everything he eats probably because I've heard it about a million times in great detail. I actually should remember every item that goes into a salad, but I don't. But it's okay, because I'm sure I can ask him and have him tell me again. Okay, this is looking good. So anyway, yeah, so that kitchen, being in that environment where basically I was like, okay, this hasn't killed him, so I guess I'll be okay. And the thing with, like, you know, E. coli and that type of stuff, it's probably not going to kill you, but who wants to be sick? Nah, nobody. So I'm pretty careful with temperatures of foods, keeping hot foods hot, cold foods cold, like you're supposed to. I've done multiple food handling safety courses throughout my life for waitressing and things like that. But yeah, so yeah, my floor's clean and I'm the only one eating this, so I don't care. Long story short. So yeah, that experience definitely changed my whole view on, there's no way I could be there and still be germophobic OCD. I would have to leave. So I don't know. I think it's good though. It's probably better to not be so worried about everything. It's a lot of stress. Being a perfectionist is a lot of stress, and I don't need it. I'm over it. Okay, so that was our cream 2 sticks of butter, 2 sticks of butter, half a cup sugar, 1.5 cup brown sugar packed until light and fluffy. It looks good to me. Oh, now we mix in the eggs. Mix in 2 eggs until well combined. And I guess we're not going to need this after all, so should put it somewhere to keep it clean. I'll put it there for now. All right, so I'm not an expert egg cracker, but I'll do my best. Especially on this plastic. Mainly don't want to get eggshell in there. So. Also, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to crack them in here because there's that gross little stuff in the egg that I I take it out when I make scrambled eggs or any kind of eggs, usually scrambled. But I'm pretty sure in my life I've eaten a cookie and gotten that yucky egg thing in there. So I'm going to crack these eggs in here and get that out like I usually do. Now this is something most people would definitely not care about, and it doesn't matter, but it grosses me out. So I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, those are 2 eggs. Well, now I've got to wash my hands because I touched the eggs. Oh boy, that blob was real buttery. I didn't realize how much butter was on there. I should have taken the glove off for the egg handling. It made this easier. Okay, I'm gonna need that later. Okay, just gonna have to bring out the towel. Dry this off. Now I need a spoon. This yucky pieces out of the yolk. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you probably know. But it's the little white stuff that's attached to the egg yolk. And it's gross. I don't know what it is, but it's gross. I don't like, giving up some of the moisture for these cookies, but yeah, no, I'm not biting into that later. Ugh. I gotta find the one that was on the other egg. Alright, well, I'm gonna mix these up a little bit so we get an even blend of egg yolk and egg white. More even. Don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but I did. Okay, now we mix in the eggs until well combined, and then we whisk in all the dry stuff. Okay. Yeah. I think at this point I can turn the oven all the way up to 350, so it'll be ready for us. Mix in 2 eggs. All right. Oh yeah, I got the spatula out so that we wouldn't have to give up any of our ingredients. I use this when I make my scrambled eggs too, just because, hey, that might be one more bite of eggs that gets left in there if you don't use the spatula. Alright, so we'll mix this in. The well combined. Okay, I read something earlier about not over mixing the dough, so I don't want to do that. Okay, I doubled the recipe that the AI gave me just because, I want more than 10 cookies if I'm going through all this trouble. So it's getting well mixed. Oh no, I missed some of this white stuff. Gross. So it helps to monitor what you're doing. Great, where did it go? Ugh. It always sticks to like some other part of the yolk. It's hard to get it out sometimes. Oh, gross. Ugh. Where the dang it? Keeps trying to get away from me. Nose. Gross. Come on. It's amazing I even eat meat. This stuff grosses me out so much. Come on. Ridiculous. Out of my life. As I was saying before that, gross thing showed itself, and I'm glad it did. Looks like it's mixing in well, despite only having a spoon to stir this with. Allergies are hitting again. Fall allergies, and usually I get congested with allergies, but since I've moved here to Minnesota, I started getting the sneezing, runny eye, and maybe it's the crops, I don't know. But yeah, so I've had to start taking allergy pills like every day. I kind of feel like in the winter I could stop because, you know, there's just, it's frozen, nothing's blooming. However, I had just stopped taking my allergy pills, and I think they did the, I forget what they call it, not the harvesting, but where they go and cut down all the old dead corn, and that's all in the air. So I had to start taking allergy pills again, and I think I just take like generic, what's that famous one? Generic, I don't know, the one that's the most popular. But now I also have to take Benadryl for the sneezing. I like Sudafed for the congestion, but ever since a few years ago, you have to go to the pharmacy counter to get that. It's whatever. So it's just one more barrier for somebody with ADD to have to go through to try to get what they need for their issues. It's like, but yeah, so I do like Sudafed. Congestion. Alright, this is looking pretty good. It's looking well mixed to me. Now the challenge, getting all the flour mixed in there, because that's when the elbow grease is going to be really necessary. I guess I'll keep that spoon. Yeah, I'll keep the spoon handy just in case I need it. And I'll keep this glove on too for that reason. I don't want to touch this with my gloved hand. I'll probably have to cut that out, right? Maybe I won't, I don't know. Alright, so mix this up a little better, just to make sure we get our salt and baking soda properly mixed in, and we'll start adding this in here a little bit at a time. So it's not too hard to mix it. Yeah, I'll just use the spoon, unless if it gets too hard to mix, I'll go to the wooden spoon again. I should probably get all the sugar off of here though, because we want to enjoy as many bites of these yummy cookies as we can. I wonder if I could use a fork. I bet I could use a fork for this. It's alright. It's working like this so far, so keep it with this. It starts getting hard. Maybe I'll use a fork instead of the wooden spoon. Okay, this is looking good. It's not looking like very much mix though, so hopefully when we get all the flour in here, it will be a good amount. I never used to be big on sweets. I was always more of a salt and carbs kind of person, but I lived with my parents for a while when I first moved to the Midwest, and my mom is a huge sugar tooth, like bad. And being in their house, I gradually started eating more sweets, and now like I get cravings for sweets. It's not great. I will deal with that. I mentioned before, I'll deal with that when I have the money to buy vegetables, and I have a dip that I like. I'll probably make for that. Salad. avocados, healthy things. Focus on fiber and fresh food, fresh produce. Till then, use what I've got around this house till it runs out, and whatever. I suppose the food bank situation will not be better coming up the end of the year, but we'll see. I know there's always a lot of fear mongering, which I try not to buy into, but stay positive and hope for the best. That's all we can do. Now this is probably, like I said, I don't have vanilla extract. I wish I did. But this seems to me like it's basically a chocolate chip cookie recipe without the chocolate chips, which I don't really like the chocolate chips that much. I mean, I guess it's good with a few in there, but I've always felt like I like the cookie more than as much as I've never actually made a batch of chocolate chip cookies and not put the chocolate chips in. I usually will just put less. So yeah, this will be my chance to see if I really do like the cookies without the chips. I definitely grew up in that age when they were not telling you not to eat the cookie dough because of the egg situation. But yeah, oof. I don't know, a lot of things that taste better than chocolate chip cookie dough. Homemade, that is. Oh boy, what have I done? Well, this wasn't sticking to the glove until I added the eggs. So, note for next time. Don't stick your gloved hands in here after the eggs have been added. I wonder if I could use a spatula. This off here, let's try. Oh yeah, that works good. My mom gave me this a little while ago, and I'm glad it's come in very handy. Usually for my scrambled eggs, but I'm enjoying what it's doing for me here. Remember not to stick my hand back in here again. If I wasn't so hard up right now, I would not waste my time doing this. But I didn't want to lose even a quarter of a cookie. Wow, that's messy. Flour, because it doesn't matter if I touch this, it's going to have to get cleaned anyways. There's such a thing as cookie dough ASMR. Probably, they've got everything else. Yep, now's when it starts getting harder to mix everything in. And I may have to do it by hand again. I'm liking the consistency here though, and hoping that the lack of vanilla extract won't have too big of an impact. Who knows, maybe it'll even be better. Get off with my fingers. Oh, what? No, okay. I wanted to pour the rest of that in, but I'm gonna be prudent and just do a little at a time, like you're supposed to. Mixed in there, and the consistency is good. Perfect. One more batch of flour and the other stuff. One or two. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna do it the hard way. I'm gonna wait to add that last bit. Lord knows I need the exercise. Left-handed enough to do this very well with my left hand. Alright, I'm going to add the last of it, and then I'm probably going to have to stick my hand in it again. Oh, that's a lot. Hope I don't regret that. This will be the hardest part, of course. Probably gonna need that again, but we'll set it there for now. Alright, yeah, this is a little bit better. I have to get all the dough off my hand. Don't overmix dough. Hopefully I'm not overmixing the dough. Just kind of flip it up. Oh, that didn't work. Flip it up and get the dough, the dry ingredients on top, flour on top to mix it in, because it seems to be sticking to the bottom a little bit. So I'll do that a couple more times. Just try to get all of that flour mixed in. hopefully we're close to being ready to bake these. Alright, it's kind of feeling a little dry, which probably isn't great. I read something about cold dough. I don't know if that applies to this kind of cookie. As far as like thicker cookies or something. Our next door neighbor growing up, he made the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had in my life. And I was too young to like really be kind of, and it was before, you know, people had video cameras in their hands all the time. I wish I had a video of him making these cookies. The recipe maybe, but I don't know what he did to make those cookies turn out so good. But yeah, best ever. Best, absolute best chocolate chip cookies ever in my life. Oh, and he has passed on sadly, so yeah, so I can't ask him. If anybody was thinking, why don't I just ask him? Yeah. Rest in peace, Pat. Okay, so that was a tragic and sad situation. All right, so my dough now, I feel like it's in a good, I kind of like that it's all together so that it's not gonna like dry out, and I'll just take pieces off of it. Oh, and hey, nothing really stuck to the glove after I added the rest of the flour and stuff. Yay. That makes me happy. I'm gonna take that off since that was just for the wooden spoon, really. Oh, I don't have a trash bag here handy. Let's move this over here. Alright. I'll use a different spoon for the scooping. I do have I'm going to use my pizza pan because that one stays flat. The instructions say to let them sit for 5 minutes though before you transfer them. So I'm going to also use my regular cookie sheet, which like I say, it twists. So I'd rather not, but at least with the cookies, they're not liquidy enough to where liquid's going to be rolling to one side or the other. They might cook unevenly, but yeah, I don't want to wait 10 minutes between baking batches. And what did it say? Tablespoon, 2 inches apart. This is one of my grandma's spoons. I miss you, Grandma. So I don't know, like, you scoop it. Do you put it in a ball? Do you flatten the ball? I don't know. I really don't know what works best, so I'm gonna make little balls. I'll do like a tablespoon and then I'll just roll it into a little ball. That seems like it's gonna be a pretty big cookie though, and I don't want giant cookies necessarily. I don't know. You can tell me what you think, size-wise, if that's a good size. Find out for sure when they get out of the oven whether I did too big or too little. I'll make them smaller next batch if they're too big. I do have some peanut butter on hand, and I don't really like peanut butter because growing up we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in our lunches every single day for like 12 years. So I have a real aversion to peanut butter. But I do have some on hand. And I would love to try peanut butter cookies. I love peanut butter cookies. Kind of funny, I don't like peanut butter, but I love peanut butter cookies. That's what these are reminding me of because they're kind of flattened out. Minus the little fork marks. We'll see how these turn out. Maybe I'll do peanut butter next time. Although I don't know how it's gonna go with these videos because this is probably too long. Should probably be like edited, whatever. But I'm just a regular person, so do the best I can. That's one thing I wish too. My grandma made really good dumplings. Now she would make them with like, I don't remember what kind of meat. I feel like I didn't really like the meat part of it, but I love the dumplings and the sauerkraut. So I wish that I could have her show me and videotape her making those dumplings. Because I haven't had a lot of other dumplings. Definitely not homemade, but hers were just perfect. Alright, well this is not very many cookies. 7 cookies. That's not very many for a batch. But we'll see. Don't want to keep interrupting the rinse or wash off my pan, but also don't want to get cookie dough on my oven handle or microwave because that'll be a bigger pain to clean. Okay, I'll turn the light on so we can monitor the progress. Set our timer. What did it say for time? It said 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm gonna probably set this for 8 minutes. Oh wait, oops. Timer. I'm gonna do it for 8 minutes and check them. Because sometimes ovens cook kind of fast, faster than you think they would. And hopefully I can reuse that parchment paper because I do not want to use a new sheet of parchment paper for every batch. And yeah, it's better to check them early because if they get burnt, they're not getting eaten. Oh, timer. Let's start the timer. Yeah, see, I did all that and didn't start the timer. All right. Well, guess I have to pause it now. Actually, let's get our second batch ready. Get our second batch on the paper. And usually, at least for me in the past, I haven't made cookies in like a really, really long time. But when I did it in the past, usually once you get them cooking, the amount of time it takes you to get the next batch ready, that batch is almost done cooking. So it's kind of, you don't really have a lot of downtime, at least I don't. We'll see how it goes. I might make these a little smaller just because those feel like they're kind of big. See how it goes. And of course, you could always, I know one of my best friends, her dad used to always make chocolate chip cookies too. And yeah, that was some chocolate chip cookie dough that got eaten a lot, was that. Probably because he let us. But yeah, so I remember there just actually being like cookie dough in the refrigerator. Probably partially because we like to eat it, and partially maybe so that he had it made ahead of time and then he could just bake some cookies the next night. So you can, I guess my point was that you can make this ahead of time and refrigerate it. Just, you know, cover it and seal it. This is kind of weird making these without chocolate chips in them. Ooh, you know what else is good? Those little cookies with the Hershey's Kiss in the middle. Oh, My mom never made those, but I remember when people would bring them to events and things, bake sales, what have you, parties. So good. So I'd like to make those someday too. Although, like I say, I could do without the chocolate. Cookies were delicious. Seem to be getting bigger as I go along. I actually, despite the reputation I've gotten in my family, I one time made like a 6-course meal for some friends, and of course my family ate too. But I made a homemade pie crust and a pie. First and only time I've ever done that, and it turned out fantastic. I made like hors d'oeuvres. The meal itself was some kind of like an Italian pasta dish, rigatoni al forno con salsa aurora, I think. Really good. That was one of the things I used to make regularly. But yeah, so I can do it. It's just a lot of work. And depending what you're making, it might be a lot of money too. Work, time, money. If only we had all three of those in abundance at the same time. Maybe some people do. I don't know. Guess if you win the lottery, you can test that out. All right, well, 8 cookies? That doesn't seem like enough for a sheet. Maybe I can kind of stagger these. Yeah, I'm going to stagger these so that we can get a few more down here. Where are we at here? We're halfway. Okay, they're looking good actually. If my hands weren't doughy, I'd bring the camera over there because they look kind of nice. Flattening them was a good move because they look pretty. Maybe if I get done with this, I can do that real quick because I'm gonna have to stop this video anyway. So I'll rinse off my hands and show you how those look. Oops. Ah, these are starting to get bigger and bigger. Dang it. A little smaller. I guess you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll just have the little bits and pieces so we don't make too big of a cookie again. Okay. Move that over here so I don't get water in it. As hard as this water is, it seems like it takes a long time to rinse the soap off your hands. Crazy. Okay. Let's take a look at these cookies. Wait a minute, can you see them? Okay. I have this on the reverse mode because I was trying to actually see what was in the frame while I was videoing. Wasn't the greatest for trying to get a picture of the cookies. Let me reverse this. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at those. Pretty. Very pretty.